7. Barrett outside the switch. Doncic goes over. Great step. And then he hammers it home. Broke his ankles.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all is well. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I really do appreciate it. So the New York Knicks are going to be taking on the Indiana Pacers tomorrow night. And this is the second game in a row when it comes to the 2022 to 23 preseason for the New York Knicks that they are going to be playing at Madison Square Garden. Obviously, the first time we took on the Detroit Pistons and we absolutely demolished them. But that was pretty much the same story for the Indiana Pacers as well, as they killed the Charlotte Hornets last night, the final score being 122-97. And I personally do like this matchup between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. They're a young, hungry group, but there's some updates we need to get into when it comes to the injury department for both of these teams. So the Indiana Pacers do not have any injuries, actually, but Daniel Tice, a brand new acquired big man, is actually out with an illness. He did not travel in Charlotte, or he did not play in Charlotte, so maybe most likely will not play in this game unless he is fully healthy and ready to go. We'll see what the latest update is. But there are some updates when it comes to Daquan Jeffries and Jericho Sims. When it comes to their latest injury report, I did not see them on their injury report when the latest update was yesterday. They weren't on there. Jericho Sims, maybe he's all good when it comes to his groin, and Daquan Jeffries, when it comes to his concussion, maybe he has cleared protocol. So maybe that is potential that we can see them tomorrow. We'll see what goes on to happen with that, but I'm not going to give you guys a definite answer. I'm not sure as of right now when I'm filming this video. And then Cam Reddish, that ankle, it does say he's day-to-day. Cam Reddish, everything he said, that his ankle's okay. Even Alan Hahn said that, who's very close to the New York Knicks, that Cam Reddish said he was okay. But the New York Knicks are just being very cautious, and they're making sure they don't put someone out there that could injure their ankle worse. And I'm glad it's not a serious injury for Cam Reddish, but if he doesn't play tomorrow, that could still hurt him, especially if Grimes continues to not play in the preseason. That's Cam Reddish's time to really prove himself, even though you could say he kind of struggled in the past game. So it would be huge if a guy of Quentin Grimes is going to be able to play, but I do not think Quentin Grimes is going to play. He's not in the walking boot, which is good news. He does have a sore foot. It still says he is day-to-day, even though in the latest injury report a day ago. I think they should just be smart and not play him. Obviously, you want to make sure he's not rusty for the regular season, but the only way I'm playing him is if he's 100% and he feels all good. And there's Mikhailuk. It's undisclosed, the latest report on him a day ago. Obviously, he had a groin injury, so undisclosed means, if you do not know, is they don't know if he's going to play or not. There's no answer as of right now. It's if Svi Mikhailuk's going to go on to play. I would like to see him. I do think he's a potential shooter of the ball because he's good mechanics. He's only had one good year when it comes to statistics-wise of just efficient shooting from the outside. He's been pretty up and down, but he did have a year that he shot over 36% from beyond the arc. So those are the injury reports or the latest updates on those guys when it comes to the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. So the New York Knicks obviously going to be at Madison Square Garden, and I think this is a good matchup for the New York Knicks when it comes to the youth department. And also when you just take a look at the overall matchup of how both these teams are hungry, I do think Rick Carlisle builds up a hungry group that is ready to compete. And same thing with Tom Thibodeau. Yes, we could have our little criticisms with Tom Thibodeau, but he always has his team ready to go, no doubt about it. We're just always ready to compete, always playing hard out there on the basketball floor. Obviously, you could talk about the Randle attitude issues, but it's a brand new season. We'll see what goes on to happen. So when you take a look at the Indiana Pacers starting five and the New York Knicks starting five, it's going to be a true test for the New York Knicks, how they defend the perimeter. I thought the New York Knicks did a good job rotating. I thought they did a good job communicating. Overall, chemistry-wise, I thought they did a good job finding each other and making sure that there was help sent, especially for Jalen Brunson at times when there would be a mismatch, even though I thought Jalen Brunson did a pretty solid job on someone that is much bigger than him, like 5 inches taller than him, of a Cade Cunningham, when it came to fronting him in that one possession, and also doing a good job drawing charges at times as well. I believe he drew a charge once. I don't know if it was Cade, but it was definitely someone taller than him. There's a high chance because Jalen Brunson is only 6'1", so Jalen Brunson is definitely going to try on that side of the ball. It just comes down to there's going to be mismatches, guys with more length, and Cade Cunningham definitely has that. But how is Jalen Brunson going to get buckets in this game? That is my true question. And how much are these starters really going to play? Again, if it's a potential close game, I could see these guys playing up until the fourth quarter because we saw the Washington Wizards preseason game last year. Tom Thibodeau just gets so locked in the game, like, yeah, we came back. Julius Randle, game-winning buzzer beater. RJ Barrett was in the game. Mitchell Robinson was in the game. I believe Quickly was out there as well when it came to the fourth quarter in a preseason game. So there was like 2 or 3 Pacers tied. I believe it was 2 for the most minutes played when it came to starters. And it was 22 minutes, the most like starters played for the Indiana Pacers in the last preseason game versus the Charlotte Hornets when they went on to win in big-time commanding fashion. So I did think there was going to be a lot more RJ defending Cade Cunningham. There was moments when it came to switches, but we did see, especially because it is preseason, they're not going to take the defensive assignments as serious. Like these shots aren't valued as much like it's a win or a loss when it comes to the regular season department. So when it comes to Jalen Brunson up against the Tyrese Haliburton, I'm interested to see how that's going to be on both ends of the floor, especially Jalen Brunson scoring the ball because Tyrese Haliburton, I do think he's better than Cade Cunningham when it comes to defensively, just being more disciplined, especially because he's been in the league one more year. He was drafted back in 2020, obviously by the Sacramento Kings. That whole Domantas Sabonis trade went on to go down. So Tyrese Haliburton has length. He's around the same height as Cade Cunningham, or maybe the same height as Cade Cunningham, around the 6'5", 6'6" department with a very long wingspan. We know he is that wiry build. He does a good job reading the passing lanes, really attacking it, coming up with big plays in transition. If it's finding his teammates or even throwing it down on his own, he is a solid athlete. So how is that matchup really going to be? I do think Jalen Brunson's going to have another solid game offensively because Jalen Brunson has very nice hesitations. He does a good job with ball fakes. He can obviously knock down the 3 from the outside. He does a good job protecting the ball when it does look like the shot's going to be blocked, finishing on the other end. So Brunson, I do think, will have a solid game when it comes to scoring. Passing, maybe we'll have a couple more turnovers because Haliburton's more disciplined when it comes to reading the passing lanes and really shutting off the interior at times. He just knows where to be out there on the floor. He's a very high IQ player. And as well on offense, Tyrese Haliburton could shoot the basketball. He could shoot the heck out of the basketball. He shot it at very good efficiency. He shot it over 36% from beyond the arc. If he gets to the charity stripe, he can knock it down. He has nice floaters. And he is someone that is pretty fluid. He has very good body control. Again, he's not some crazy athlete, but he makes up for it with his basketball IQ, and he's one of the best passers in the game when it comes to the point guard position as well. He runs the pick and roll to perfection, or he just utilizes screens to perfection. And the thing I'm really interested to see is Mitchell Robinson on defense, because when it comes to these pick and roll situations, Miles Turner and Tyrese Haliburton thrive together, especially because there's kind of a bait that goes on here, and it's kind of a pick your poison, because when a screen's set for Tyrese Haliburton, if there's space, especially if the defender's an idiot, goes onto the screen, Tyrese Haliburton can knock it down. And also, there's a pick and pop situation. Miles Turner could pop to the outside, and he's capable of shooting it from the outside. And especially if the defender goes on to rotate or move up and help to defend a Miles Turner when the screen set he's popping outside of the perimeter, there's a high chance of a possibility, especially if Mitchell Robinson leaves the interior, someone will be open inside and Tyrese Haliburton can find him there. So how is Mitchell Robinson going to be defensively? Is he going to be disciplined in this game? How is he going to be on the boards? And usually, yes, Mitchell Robinson's a solid defender outside on the perimeter, but Miles Turner has given Mitchell Robinson fits in the past. So I'm interested to see how that's going to go on to happen and how the pick and roll will be defended as well, because I think Jalen Brunson and Mitchell Robinson, their chemistry is only going to get better when the season goes on, even throughout this preseason. And we know that Miles Turner is one of the best interior rim protectors in the game, or one of the best rim protectors in the game. So how is he going to defend that pick and roll, and how are we going to defend the 3 from the outside? I do think Mitchell Robinson's going to have a better game when it comes to the boards department, because Isaiah Stewart's a little more physical on the boards, and he's a stronger player. Yes, he's not as tall as a Miles Turner, but I feel like he does a better job using his leverage and boxing out compared to a Turner. But Turner has a very interesting skill set. He's a solid athlete as well. He's someone that's capable of rolling to the basket. So is Mitch going to just use his leverage more, utilize that strength that he's gained more and more throughout his career, and do a better job boxing out? How is he going to be offensively? Is there going to be situations Miles Turner shuts off that pick and roll? Mitch said he's working on his post game and working on hook shots. Are we really going to see that with Mitchell Robinson as well? I think that's going to be a key test. But we know Mitchell Robinson's capable of blocking shots in the interior as well. So we'll see how that goes on to happen. But then you take a look at the 4 position. I think that's going to be an interesting matchup. I do think Randle's going to go on to dominate this matchup when it comes to offensively scoring the ball, because I do think he's a size mismatch when it comes to a Jalen Smith. If Randle doesn't settle, I think he could dominate this mismatch, which I should say. And I thought Julius Randle actually played pretty well in that second half of that game versus the Detroit Pistons. He did less settling, especially on the possession that he drove straight at Jaden Ivey, who he's very much stronger than. So when he's utilizing his strengths, such as just finishing around the basket or getting to the basket and finishing and using that strength like mismatch situations, I do think that's where Randle thrives, and he's being more reactionary and doing less thinking out there on the floor. That's where I like Randle as. So I hope he doesn't settle for a lot of jumpers. Jalen Smith's a thinner guy. Randle's a lot stronger, but Jalen Smith's another guy that's capable of shooting the ball from the outside and pick and pop situations. You already have to worry about Miles Turner, how it's going to be with Jalen Smith, and he's a solid rim protector that has become more disciplined throughout his career. He was a lottery pick as well, who was selected by the Phoenix Suns, then he went on to be traded to the Indiana Pacers, and he averaged 13 points per game with the Pacers when he went on to be traded to them, and he actually did a solid job on the boards department. But I do think Randle has a potential to have a big game when it comes to rebounding the ball due to his strength, due to how he boxes out as well, as long as he's not really standing around, and we didn't see much like we saw that last year, obviously, the standing around. So as long as he's smart, does a good job boxing out, I think he could definitely win that matchup. And there's much more to this Pacers group as well, and obviously the New York Knicks group we're going to get into. So they have Buddy Hield that can shoot the basketball as well. So that matchup versus Evan Fournier, you could say they're pretty similar players. Like they're limited in some departments. He's a lightning quick release, so how's our communication really going to be when it comes to the defending the perimeter? But I do think Evan Fournier can have a solid game and a better game offensively than last game, but it also comes down to the minutes. And then another player they have that can efficiently shoot the basketball, Chris Duarte, coming out of Oregon, which they drafted not too long ago, obviously. And he was an older player coming out, but he's someone that's capable of defending. He's someone that's capable of being an okay passer. He's a solid defender. This is obviously going to be the matchup with RJ Barrett. So this is the game I really would like to see RJ Barrett bust out what he's been working on in the offseason with a Drew Hanlon. This is preseason. It's okay to make mistakes. I'm not going to criticize RJ if he goes 6 for 17 in a preseason game. I just looked at Giannis' stat line. He was not efficient. I believe it said he was like 6 for 16 in that game versus the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young wasn't efficient. It's your time to make mistakes and really showcase what you've been working on. And RJ Barrett, I do like his strength versus Chris Duarte. Chris Duarte is a very capable defender, but this is the game I would like to see RJ Barrett bust out more of the hesitations he's been working on and more of the shooting off the dribble and really performing and creating separation. The step back threes, he really struggled with those last year, especially in that Brooklyn Nets game. But these are both balanced players. I do think RJ obviously has a lot more upside, and I think he's going to kill Duarte when it comes to his athleticism, which I do think is kind of knocked because he actually is a good athlete. He just kind of moves a little different than other players out there on the basketball floor. But when it comes to overall shooting of the basketball, Tyrese Haliburton could shoot it. Buddy Hield could shoot it. Chris Duarte could shoot it from the outside as well. You have, obviously, Jalen Smith that can shoot it. Miles Turner, maybe not crazy efficiently, but if he gets hot, he can knock it down. So when it comes to the bench, I think those are going to be good matchups as well. And is Derrick Rose going to get as many minutes? Not as many minutes, more minutes, because he didn't get a lot of minutes last game. Maybe it's because he's a veteran. He already knows what Tom Thibodeau wants out there on the floor and his certain habits. There's no point of him being out there. But when it comes to the backup guards, like TJ McConnell, that he is someone that is a pest on defense. He is a pest on defense. Maybe offensively, he's not the best. He's not someone that's capable of shooting the three ball. He's not some crazy athlete. But one of the main reasons he's in the league, he's one of the best on-ball defenders. He does not give up on a play. He hustles like crazy. He's a team player. He plays with tons of heart. He's one of the definitions of heart over height. No doubt about it. So I do like the way TJ McConnell plays, and we'll get to see how quickly is progressing when it comes to his overall bag scoring the ball up against a TJ McConnell, because I'm sure there's going to be moments or tons of moments that TJ McConnell defends and Emmanuel quickly. And Obi Toppin, is he going to have a bounce-back game from three-point range? He really disappointed me when it came to the way he shot the three ball. I'm not overreacting like he's a terrible three-point shooter after that game, but as much as we liked Obi's stretch of him shooting the three ball when it came to those last few games towards the end of the season, there was more bad than good when it came to shooting the three ball from beyond the arc. But he did show he's a solid touch from the free throw line, but it just comes down to how does he shoot from the three-point line this game as well. And they just have a gritty group. Like Benedict Mathurin, they went on a draft with the 6th overall pick out of Arizona. Athletic. He can shot great. He had a good game in limited minutes. What do you have, like 16 points in 19 or 20 minutes on good efficiency? Like, he dominated Summer League, and he's a part of that Indiana Pacers future as well. So I do like the pieces when it comes to the Indiana Pacers, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. Aaron Naismith, brand new acquired player. Maybe they try to resurge his career. He was thought of as a good shooter coming out of Vanderbilt. Isaiah Jackson, who played pretty well for the Indiana Pacers last game out of Kentucky, that has solid length. He's starting to really develop that mid-range game. He wasn't afraid to shoot the three ball. He could block shots. He has the potential to be this unicorn. Not if, obviously, he needs to knock down the three ball, but unicorn defensively, because he could block shots in the interior, but he could also step outside of the perimeter and defend as well. He has good flexible hips that could block shots, and he could do a lot. He's a good athlete that plays with tons of energy. They have guys that play with a lot of energy, which I love. Even Terry Taylor, unorthodox player. He's undersized for the 4 position, but does a good leverage. He has good leverage. He does a good job rebounding the basketball. O'Shea Brissett, he's not some flashy player, but he's going to play very hard as well. So I'm interested to see if Cam Reddish is going to play. Maybe he won't play for the New York Knicks when it comes to this upcoming game, and they're just going to try to be safe with him, which I think the Knicks should do. They should just be safe with him at this point. But if he is healthy, I would play him personally, because he's kind of playing for his NBA career or playing for his next contract. Like, it's a contract year, but Isaiah Hartenstein, I'm excited to see what he's going to do. Once again, because Isaiah Hartenstein, that matchup with Isaiah Jackson might actually be pretty good, because Jackson's capable of defending the perimeter. Hartenstein is stronger, but I want to see if Hartenstein knocks out another 3 or 2. We know he plays with tons of energy. I just love watching him play. But there's actually tons of injuries when it comes to maybe some depth pieces, like Fee Mikhailuk. We don't know if he's going to play Jericho Sims. We don't know if he's going to play Cam Reddish. Possibly not as well. We know Grimes isn't going to play, most likely. So we'll see what go on to happen. Ryan Arcidiacono, Miles McBride played extremely hard last game, so Miles McBride might bring some energy. And McBride, maybe get some rotational minutes, especially as a spark plug on defense. I've never doubted his defense. He's a good defender. He brings you energy and changes the flow of the game defensively, but it's just consistently creating and shooting off the dribble, or really consistently scoring the basketball. And is his offense decent enough to really get valuable minutes? So let me know down below your thoughts on this game. How do you think we're going to do when it comes to the rebound department? I want to see Mitch get his boards up, defending the 3. Who do you think's going to have a big pop game? I'm just interested to see how they're going to look versus this highly energized Pacers team. And I think we're going to match their intensity. If we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. It's preseason. Peace out, y'all.